Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Forever Young. I'm your host, David C. Linton. And of course, this is the show that celebrates life for those of us who are over 40, because they say life begins at 40. So everything prior to that is really just a dress rehearsal. So today we're going to have another spirited conversation. And I'm going to be joined by the two lovely ladies who make me look good. First, I'm talking about the beautiful one, Miss Jean Hendricks. Good afternoon, Jean.
Good afternoon, David. As always, I'm delighted to share this post with you. Back to you now.
And of course, the lady who keeps us all together, and that's none other than Dr. Sharon Mitchell. How you doing, Sharon?
I'm doing great, David. As always, it's a pleasure to be on the platform with you and Miss Hendricks. And again, looking forward to our guest today.
Yes, and talking about our guest today, our guest actually is someone, for those of you who wasn't with us last week, we had a spirited conversation. We've been talking about nutrition. We're in the holidays, and we just started talking about such great things. And so we just couldn't get it all done in one segment. So we asked her to come back. But before we bring her back to the stage, we always get the table set, if you will, by Jean, who always has some pearls of wisdom that kind of puts us in the right frame of mind for the show. So I know, Jean, you have something for us today.
Yes, I do, David. And the title of this one says Rules for a Healthy Living. Less soda, more water. Less alcohol, more tea. Less sugar, more fruit. Less meat, more vegetables. Less driving, more walking. Less worry, more sleep. Less anger, more laughter. Less words, more action. Back to you, David.
Gene, that is perfect, not only for this week, but it's really a part of the stuff that we learned last week from our guests, because we talked about dieting and eating and the things that we need to change. And so I'm just going to get right to it. Our guest today, for those of you who weren't with us last week, is Miss Coffee Dunning. She's a registered and licensed dietitian with over 15 years of experience. She has experience with nutrition in such diverse areas and with such diverse patient populations, from people in nursing homes to the military to those who've been incarcerated, dialysis centers at Grady Memorial Hospital, the largest trauma center in the metro Atlanta. Her skill sets and nutritional counseling has helped so many people. She has the credentials in nutrition and dietetics and a master's from Georgia State University. She's board certified. She's into healthy eating and living and moving and running races and all that stuff. But the thing about it is that she's got a great way of sharing her information, and she's got a beautiful personality, and she's a beautiful lady. And we're going to welcome to the scene once again. Welcome back, Miss Coffee Dunning.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome back. It's a pleasure to have you here. Over the last week, when we talked about on last week's show, you gave us such great pearls about how we need to eat for people who are over 50, over 60, meal portions, talked about the variety, the importance of the breakfast being the most important meal. We talked about having a balanced diet. You talked about how we prepare that Popeye chicken, and so many things, and the importance of water, and how important water is, and the measuring cups. So last week's show was really kind of, I think, put everybody in a mindset of being a little bit more conscious of what they should eat and how we should eat in proportions, and how important vegetables are. Mom always said, eat your vegetables. And we talked about fruits. So this week we want to just dive a little bit more into what you provide in terms of as we open up, what do you provide your clients, the services that you provide your service? Say if I were to bring you in or hire you, what would you do for me as a client? How do you prepare or assist us in healthy living and nutrition?
Okay, as a
I'm David, the bad
dietitian,
eater, and I come
one of
to
my
you.
oh,
I said, I'm David, the bad eater, and I come to you. No, go ahead.
Okay.
No, I was saying, if I was David, the bad eater, and I came to you, what would you do for me as one of your clients if I wanted you to be help me get on the right road to eating?
okay. Could you repeat your question? I can't hear you.
Oh, I said, if I came to you as David, the poor eater, I don't eat well, and I enlisted your services, how would you help me as a client, and how would you help me prepare to eat right and get my nutritional program together?
Okay, if you were coming to me as a new client, what I would first do is I would try to do a 24-hour recall. That means that I get a list of what you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And these days, I always tell patients, nobody tells the truth. So I always tell them, send me an actual picture of what you're eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because when you see the picture, I get a feel of the patient. Because a lot of people, I'm not saying everybody's a liar, but a lot of people kind of feel on what they eat and don't eat. And then I always want them to have a goal in mind to be realistic, from where their body mass is or body mass index, or what are they going to do with this weight loss and how they're going to maintain their weight loss. And I always include also an activity log, because if you have the diet, but if you don't have the exercise, it's no good. And then we'll go from there to formulate a customized program based on what are you currently doing. Because again, I don't like to make a specific meal plan, like just say you're going to do keto and that's going to work for you. Keto may not work for you based on your chronic disease or your lab results that a lot of times that you just received from a doctor. So a lot of times people want to have quick results, but are they going to be realistic? Your meal plan or what's customized will be realistic to your lifestyle. So I always want to do a 24-hour recall before formulating a meal plan.
Carla, you mentioned a keto. Do you recommend keto eating for clients?
Well, right now keto is the craze, but right now a lot of people are not doing keto correctly. Keto is a good start, but again, after you get off the keto diet, are you going to maintain it after you've lost this weight? And a lot of times you see the weight come back faster with people on the keto diet, and it's very expensive. If you go to the grocery store, I know food is very expensive right now anyway, but they have food specifically for the keto diet. You can spend up for one person excess of maybe about $200 to almost $300 a week, and that's too expensive if you truly want to do a quote unquote keto diet.
Wow.
Now, what is a keto diet? Bring that, because somebody out there has probably heard that term, but not know what it really means. And if at that price tag, I don't know if I need to know, but I still would like to find out.
Right, and with the keto diet, that means that you're going to, it's basically the same premise as diabetic. You're going to have a lot more protein. When we say protein, especially if you're a person who has chronic kidney disease, you should not be on this keto diet because they want you to on an excess of 70 to almost 100 grams of protein. You only can eat certain keto friendly foods, and it's only like asparagus is on the list a lot. It's not that many vegetables that you can eat, but you're trying to put your body to where it can lose. So basically it's no bread, which you're going to have to cut out anyway. You're going to be low carb, and you can't have, potatoes or not on the diet. So all these things, and then there's water, no sodas. So all these things are what a dietitian would recommend anyway if you were not on a keto diet.
Wow.
So it's a lot of protein. It's heavily protein laden far as a diet. And it's no sugar. It's very low sugar. It's only like 20 grams or less of carbs per meal.
Okay.
That sounds like
So it's no Popeye's chicken on keto.
No,
Nope, nope, that does not sound like fun at all.
not at
It
all.
does not.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jermaine Dolly, Mr. Hello Dolly himself, and guess what? You're tuned in to Tea and Worship with my homies, Mignon and Corey. Keep it locked, y'all.
Hey y'all, it's Candy West, and you're watching Tea and Worship with Mignon and Corey.
It's your boy James Fortune, and you are watching my favorite news show, Tea and Worship, with my sis Mignon and Corey.
Every discipline starts with creating a habit. Find a plan that works for you. I know you can put a reminder in your phone, call so-and-so in 30 days. You can't use the excuse that, oh, I'm an introvert or I'm an extrovert. You know, stuff people like to say. Nah, if you're not outgoing, right, you better get going, because that's the only way networking works.
What advice do you provide in preparing for a comprehensive health, eating, and nutrition program?
Well, a comprehensive nutritional program, again, I always ask clients, do you cook or do you know how to cook? A lot of people say they know how to cook, but a lot of times they're relying on other people to cook, and then people think like going to Piccadilly's or a soul food restaurant is home cooked meal, or this is it. Is not home cooked meal. When I say home cooked meal, I mean, are you physically in the kitchen preparing a meal and making yourself a plan for 7 days a week? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and even snacks. So for a comprehensive nutritional plan, is actually sitting down. We may have to go to the grocery store to actually see what are you buying. And so now I love pictures. I love texting, because a lot of people, you don't have to call. Well, I can respond like, right then and there. Hey, this is good. This is not good. Your plate is bad. I actually give people check marks to tell them, like a kid, and like a smiley face emoji to tell them that, hey, you're doing good. And a lot of people love encouragement. And that's one thing that I think people need, especially with trying to lose weight or to try to get their lab, especially their blood sugar. People love to be complimented. And also people need a health coach. And you actually see that now during the pandemic, during the telehealth phase. We do a lot of face-to-face, and I think that was one of the positive things with the pandemic. Now we can actually be there with the patient in their homes without them traveling to an office.
Wow.
Thank you.
So Carla, now you've talked about a comprehensive healthy eating. How does that come across during the holidays? How do I get ready for the holidays?
My favorite time of the year. I mean, it's so hard to be a dietitian during this time of year, because we have I even bought like Patti LaBelle sweet potato pie. She's put the game on the sweet potato pie, but now she has minis, which I thought was good as far as portion size. And so with her sweet potato pie is only and always read the food label. And that's another thing people need to do is read the food label. And it's only 33 grams of carbs, and she only has 16 grams of sugar. So look, you can buy you a Patti LaBelle pie for 50 cents. I should be her spokesperson. No, but as far as the holidays, it's a stressful time of year, because it's going to be very different. We're trying to go through our new normal. We still have COVID. COVID is still there. And so when people now are gathering for the first time for 2 years, and I really tell people moderation, and you always want to start out with, some dark green leafies. So I always start that with your holiday eating is more green vegetables. And you don't have to cook them with no ham hock, hog maw, fat back, salt pork. You can cook them with, again, they have chicken stock. We have good old fashioned chicken stock. And then also too, you can actually use real chicken parts to cook these turnip greens or collard greens or kale. You don't have to cook them for no 3 to 4 hours for them to be good.
Right.
Interesting.
Oh, boy.
Interesting.
Yes.
So, I mean, and you really hit that because we in Georgia, and I think I'm a Yankee. Okay, my wife is a Georgia Peach, so I think the Georgia vegetable is a collard green. So you because everybody in Georgia loves the collard greens. I mean, I love them too, but so what you just said in terms of trying to focus on healthy eating and cooking, and a lot apparently goes to the preparation. How we prepare our food. So, because you just said, that chicken broth versus that ham hock or whatever you would put in there, that the seasoning meat. I'm not a cook, as you could probably tell. I'm a good eater, but I'm not a good cook. So we're focusing on this healthy eating during the holidays. What advice do you have to maintain a healthy eating during the holidays when you're around the people and there's so much temptation and there's food and you're going from one house to another house? How do you, without going to somebody's house and somebody say, have something to eat, you go like, no, and you're not, and they're like insulted. You know how we are traditionally. You don't want to eat my food? That's peer pressure.
Okay, well, I recommend again, during the holiday season, you need to up your exercise game. You do 5 days a week, you need to do 7 days a week. You need to make walking, you need to extend your time of walking, because you're going to do a lot of visiting, and you always know that number one rule that your grandmother told you: always eat before you go home, before you leave your house, because you never know what you may not even like their food. So you always start off with breakfast, and you always eat before you go. You always eat before you go, and then you can do tasting and always get a smaller plate. Be nice, but you don't have to pile high your food. And I know a lot of people don't take leftovers or don't take it. So, well, let me take a plate home. And then from there, you can go home and you can see, okay, I'm going to taste this, but then I'm going to have to throw it away. So you shouldn't have 5 or 6 plates by the end of Christmas Day. And then really watch the sweets. That's what I'm trying to tell you about the portion sizes. It's like, now, you can really, this is apple pie. This is, kidney friendly. And then really just watch your portion sizes when going out with the sweets, because I know a lot of people may not eat, but they do a lot of sweets. So really, you can taste the sweets. I really don't recommend any diabetic sweets. It's just your portion size. So when you can eat a large piece of cake and just have one piece of cake. But again, you're going to drink plenty of water that day. You're going to have your exercise game on, and you ate breakfast that day, hopefully. And so it'll be just a normal day for family and friends.
That's
and then
that's
here,
rough.
We'll go with that.
I think you.
I was just
answered
gonna
my- Go ahead,
I think
David.
that was a little rough. I said that's kind of rough when you can't take the pies. That's kind of tough. Because the portions. I don't know how we're gonna adjust to that. That's tough. That's a
Yeah.
tough one there. I love
Yeah.
Yeah, because
my
we have
sweets.
we have an actual dessert plate. I mean, we have a little each dessert. So we can't
That
hear
Carl,
that.
that was my
Yeah.
next question as far as what do you recommend for desserts, when we are trying to not eat so much, but you've already answered that. But then too, uh, you say serving sizes is the most important thing. If you go in some place and they have the cake and the pie and this kind of a thing, so you're saying that the size of it, just get a little small
Mhm,
piece of it, right?
mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna
Right.
try
I mean, I
real
want you to
hard.
enjoy yourself because I know socialization, people that's how people party. I mean, we eat. That's how we
Yeah.
communicate as, people, is that we do a lot of party and socialization, and
Mhm.
don't overindulge. That's the only thing I can say, is just watch out for the portion. And if you can bring it home and then you can eat on it for a couple of days, or you can bring it home,
Okay.
and just eat on it for a couple of days, if you don't
Mhm.
have other people in the house. So it's just
But
portion control. And that's everything, is
okay,
moderation is
that's
the key,
good.
because I want you to enjoy yourself.
Right. That's good, Carl. But this is what I do. I eat just to look. I am a dessert eater. So during the meal, I save room for my dessert. So you telling me I don't need to save room. I need to fill up all my vegetables, right? And then just get a small
Right, you
amount
got to
of
fill up
dessert.
on those vegetables, and
You
people don't
just hurt my
realize too,
feelings.
the
Yes.
meat. So this is some honey baked ham turkey. They always make good turkey breasts, and people don't realize that this meat here, this little turkey breast. I know it looks kind of old, but I had to do the best I can. but but the whole thing is that this really doesn't have any sugar. It's protein. It's pure protein. And then even if you eat the ham, that's pure protein. It just, when it adds up, when they have like a glaze to it. And so the thing is that you always want to make sure that you always bone up on the protein of the meal. That won't have any sugar in it. So any type
Mhm.
of like mashed potatoes, and another thing people do is this stove topping. People still make stove topping. It is filled with a lot of salt. I just want to tell people, you want to make your own dressing if you love to make dressing. And another thing, another announcement is no Jiffy cornbread. Please
Huh?
do not
Oh
make any Jiffy
no.
cornbread, because
No.
that's high in sugar and it's high
No.
in carbs. So I know this is a big one because it's still on sale at Walmart for 50 cents. So these two are the big nutrition offenders for the holidays, but enjoy yourself
Oh my
in the portion
goodness.
size.
Well,
Oh my God.
You have
Carl.
just
well,
slapped me
well,
in
my
my
wife,
Yeah.
face.
my wife didn't allow Jiffy into the house, but I'm in New York. That's where we grew up, and she makes the hot water cornbread or whatever.
Well, look, you might not be popular, but my favorite character is Celestial because
So one of the quotes that I wrote down in the book that kind of stood out to me was, "Love is the enemy of sound judgment."
She seemed like a very needy woman. And I can't even respect Andre, because how do you prey on your friend's wife while he's incarcerated? Like, I just can't get with that. And maybe I got too invested in the book, that
those of you who are just joining us, we're with Ms. Coffee Dunning, and we're talking about nutrition and trying to eat right for the holidays, not just for the holidays, but because the question is, do you eat to live or do you live to eat? You know, and when you get to a certain
Yes.
age, I think we now have to really eat to live. And so,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and especially, let's talk about it culturally. You know, African American holiday
Right.
meals are filled with salt and calorie-rich foods.
Yes.
How do we still enjoy them while reducing the salt and calorie intake? You know, because you know if you take, because like my wife will buy something that's like low sodium because she's looking out for me, man. I go like, that don't taste good. Like the salad dressings and everything. So you
Right.
know, she goes, it tastes the same. You just read it on the bottle. That you didn't know the difference. So I mean, how do we, you know, how do we recondition ourselves during this period? You know,
Okay,
culturally
well, I know a
speaking.
lot of people are diagnosed with high blood pressure. It's just like almost every African American I know have high blood pressure. So the thing is,
Right.
you really just have to try it. You know, once you start buying and using unsalted butter, unsalted products, or lightly salted products, you never want to go back to salt again because you can taste salty food and you can also taste it in other people's food. So the rule of
Right.
thumb is on any product, you want to choose things that are 200 milligrams or less of sodium. So you can look on any nutritional label. And then another big offender is hot sauce.
Oh
I think,
no.
a lot of people use a lot of hot sauce. I mean, this hot
Yes.
sauce is Tabasco, but Tabasco is one of the best hot sauce to use, any of their flavors, just because it is low in sodium. So 1 teaspoon of this hot sauce has 150 milligrams of sodium. And all the information you ever want to know about a food is always on the nutritional facts label. So you want to choose foods that have 200 milligrams or less of sodium. And so it'll take about 2 weeks for you to adjust to the sodium level being low, but I think it's a great thing to try, especially during the holidays, because if you take somebody who makes greens with ham, hock, hog, maw, fat, back, salt, pork, and then you have somebody who will make the greens the healthy way, with chicken parts or with just a chicken broth, it's going to be two totally different things. But again, you will adjust, and your blood pressure will thank you.
Okay, so
Wow.
let's talk about the high blood pressure for
High
a
blood
second. I know it's
pressure.
not in the script, but what is a good diet? Now we know salt because there's some recent things that's come out that says salt isn't the big boogeyman that we thought it was, a sodium. So you're hearing these conflicting reports, in these new medical journals or whatever. So what is the best way to approach hypertension? Because again, recently diagnosed. Okay, I entered a new decade, picked up some new
Yes.
things.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so again, we're going back to the vegetables. We're going back to dark green leafy vegetables. So it's basically, we call it the DASH diet, or you need to choose things no more than about, as far as African Americans, I really say a half a teaspoon of salt a day, or that's really not a lot of salt. That's about 2,000 milligrams or less of sodium if you have a diagnosis of high blood pressure. And you need 2 cups of fresh and frozen vegetables every day. You have to make an exercise plan. That means, when I say exercise plan, or you can commit yourself to at least 30 minutes every other day. And also that's cutting down on Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, any soul food, pizza place. So it means cutting down again on processed food, no bacon, no sausage.
And she says it with a smile. I love her.
Right.
She's coming after
That's
my
amazing.
porky pig.
So Carla, I have a question. Since you talk about salt, frozen foods, when you buy them, like prepared frozen dishes, they have a lot of sodium. Is that something for somebody with high blood pressure? Should they be avoiding
Yes,
frozen
and I'm glad
foods?
you talked
Okay.
about that, because this is frozen cauliflower, mashed cauliflower. And if we look at this product, it has 510 milligrams of sodium just for a half a cup. So if you do do any kind of, like I said, fresh is better, but I know a lot of people do a lot of stuff that's warm up. But if you do a lot of frozen meals, and I know a lot of seniors do eat a lot of frozen meals just because a lot of times it's convenient. They don't have to stand up and cook anything. They want to choose things that have 600 milligrams or less of sodium. And you can find that on the nutritional facts label. So you can find that on the nutritional facts label. And some of the brands will be like Healthy Choice, Eating Well, and then just about every store has low sodium. But I know a lot of times, a lot of people are not avid label readers. And so the best thing is 600 milligrams or less of sodium if you do, again, frozen meals. And even some lean cuisines will be low sodium, but again, Stouffer's, Marie Callender, she's not ever going to be on the list. Chicken pot pies are not going to be.
Right, they're 900. Yeah, they're like 900, 1,000 milligrams of sodium. Yeah.
Right, and so you just want to make sure you read the food label. And a lot of times, some older adults can't see the food label, so make sure they have their, their little glasses on just to make sure that it is 600 milligrams or less.
So Carla, what about canned goods? Let's talk about canned foods, because seniors get pantry foods from the pantry, and it's always canned goods. Can you speak to those as well?
Right. This canned good is no salted added green beans. Yes, you will pay more of a price for the no salt added or lightly salted beans. But again, you always want to look on the food label. And anything in nutrition at the grocery store is going to be at the bottom of the food aisle. Everything is at the bottom of the food aisle. So you can find canned green beans. It's no salt added. So just make sure you read the food label. And then also a lot of times people use this cream of mushroom soup. I think this gets used for different gravies during the holiday season. And I think a half a cup of this cream of mushroom soup has 870 milligrams of sodium. And so it's best to make your own cream of mushroom soup from scratch. And a lot of times you can find all these recipes online, and so everything will be quick and easy. So canned foods to me are not no good, but I do use canned foods. But anytime that I do use canned foods, I make sure it says no salt added or lightly salted. And I always am a avid label reader. You always want to read the food label to find out the salt content.
Now, I got a question, because you said something. Now, less salt would cost more. So
yes, it does.
Because it sounds like if they didn't have to add the salt, it would be cheaper because they didn't have to do anything. Why do you? Maybe you can or cannot answer the question. But see, if I had to add some salt, then I would charge you more. If I didn't have to add salt, I wouldn't charge you anymore. Is it because the president?
Just a rule of thumb in food and nutrition, everything that's healthier is going to be an extra $1. Everything is going to be cost more. That's why it costs more. If you ever bought juice that's unsweetened, it's never on sale. If you ever buy real cherry juice, it's almost $8.
So is there a conspiracy to kill us? No.
Unfortunately, is very expensive.
So it's a conspiracy.
I mean, you actually, you have to go to certain stores, and that's why, unfortunately, in a predominantly African American neighborhood that have many different chronic disease, they're in food deserts, and they have no access to these foods. So that's another issue too.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my word. Wow, because that's
right about that.
You have a liquor store, Popeye's Chicken, and a dialysis center right there, and that's on Candler Road.
That's right.
And then they have like a Piggly Wiggly or a Big Bear that don't have, fresh vegetables. They have fresh vegetables. They have like different options as far as healthier options for the people who need that in the community.
So tell me, how can our listeners find out more about you and the services that you provide? I mean, I know that you do these and you work in these institutions, but do you take on individual clients, or do you have How,
Yeah,
you
I do. I
know,
mean, you can
just
always find me. I'm on every platform. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. You can actually
okay.
put my name in, and you can actually DM me, or you can send me an email. It pops up my contact information. Now we're in the digital age, so you can always contact me that way, or you can just give me a call. I'm easy accessible. I mean, I don't have any bars or anything like that. So I know that everybody wants to go online anyway to research your skill set and make sure you are you. And so you can definitely reach me by my email, or even on a social media platform.
So as we like to say, you are Googleable. Just Google.
Yeah, I'm Google. Yeah, people
Google.
Google. They
Yes.
don't. So yeah, so I mean, I'm accessible as far as access, and I think I don't charge a whole lot of money. I just want you to be healthy and whole. A lot of people are going to spend a lot of money this January, and they're not going. And you don't have to spend all that money to get yourself started on a health plan.
Excellent.
So we're getting ready we're winding down on this segment. But Jean or Sharon, any parting questions?
I just wanted to ask her one last question for me. How do you avoid weight gain during the holidays? What do you suggest? What do I need to do?
Okay,
Make
that's
it
a big
personal
one.
for me.
Like I said, you got to have your measuring cups. Got to have those measuring cups. You want to, like I said, you got to up that exercise game. If
Yeah,
you're doing 30 minutes a day, you got to do 15 minutes a day. Again, it's portions. Again, eat your vegetables and drink that water, and just moderation. And then you have one day that you have a cheat day. That means you eat and drink anything you want. My day is Friday.
Okay.
Your day may be Sunday. So you always give yourself a week to make sure that you have a cheat day.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So is it better to exercise in the morning or the afternoon, or just as long as you do it?
It depends on your schedule. I just want you to get it in. Like
Excellent.
I really advise everybody before they start their busy day to exercise in the morning. I'm just a morning person. You may be a night owl and want to do the treadmill at 12 o'clock, but it's going to be harder for you to wind down.
That's true.
But,
So,
Carl, I wanted to thank you for sharing all of this information with us. It's always a pleasure having you, and you always give us this tune-up, all the things that you told us last time.
Well, yeah, y'all got to have me back.
We will. I tell you, you're gonna finally make me give up church's chicken, give up Popeye's chicken. I tell you, it's gonna be hard.
Right. And we will all have lost weight by the time you come back again.
No.
That's why tradition we eat.
Oh, this is.
I'll be by your house, Carla. Hold on to that chicken.
She's gonna just pull the skin off and eat it, right? Yeah. What if you don't? Is it true that you just take the skin off and it's better?
No.
If you just take the skin off, is it better? Is that Popeye's chicken? I'm trying to find a shortcut for the people.
Answer.
You have to get rotisserie chicken. You have to buy like baked chicken or rotisserie chicken. No biscuits. No biscuits.
Okay.
No biscuits.
Well, it's always a pleasure when you're with us here. We have such fun here on Forever Young. And at this, we're supposed to laugh because laughter is good. It's good for the soul. And the information that you gave us is invaluable. We really do appreciate you taking the time to spend this and sharing this information with our audience. Again, you've been listening to Miss Coffee Dunning, and talking about nutrition and things that we should do to eat, because we're forever young, but if we want to stay young, we got to eat right, and we have to live right, and we have to exercise. And so moderation, it takes moderation, and it takes some adjustment. And so it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, but we're not old dogs. We're just mature.
That's
so
right.
It's a different side. So again, we want to thank you all for tuning in on behalf of our executive producer, Dr. E. Dewey Smith, Jr., and the entire Hope TV family. We thank you for tuning in once again for Forever Young. On behalf of Sharon Mitchell, Gene Hendricks. I'm David Linton. And remember, life ain't nothing but a number, and you are forever young. Until next time, take care. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.